Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to today's video where we are going to be having a look at the new Making Mauves collection from Colourpop. I have the eyeshadow palette, I have the two Super Shock shadows, I have both of the blushes that came with this collection, and I have the two Luxe lip glosses. So what we're going to do is we are going to kind of swatch everything, see how it performs. We're going to compare it to some previous Colourpop releases, kind of see how they fit in, whether you already have these colors, do you need this particular one? And then at the end we'll go ahead and do a look. I've done kind of all the rest of my face makeup except for obviously eyeshadow, blush, and lips. So we're gonna try all of these guys out. So if that sounds interesting, keep watching and we'll have fun with mauves. For those of you who are new, hi, I'm Carolyn. This is my little corner of peace and calm and tranquility on the internet right now, where we just have a nice time playing with makeup. I'm a huge Colourpop fan. I was gonna say stan, but like that denotes kind of like a worrying level of fandom. I have, from the past year, probably everything that Colourpop has released with like a very few exceptions. So I have everything to kind of compare this against. So we will have some fun with that. So I'm very excited to try out this new collection. It's the first time I've actually managed to get any blushes from Colourpop recently. We could go back and talk about the Sailor Moon fiasco, but I won't. It's gonna bore you. It's fine. I'm over it. Anyway, so I know that I'm not going to really have probably any quality issues with Colourpop because I enjoy them so much. I know the formula. So from a quality standpoint, I don't think you can go wrong with a purchase from Colourpop. They're inexpensive and of a really high quality that matches price points way above what you actually pay for Colourpop, in my humble opinion. So what we're really doing is kind of looking at the color story and looking at whether this is something that might interest you. My main concern before I purchased this was how it compares to the Flutterby palette that came out in the autumn. So we will do some comparison swatches with that. So let's just dive into it. Let's go ahead and start opening things. I haven't even opened anything. So let's have a look first at the palette. I'll open everything and then we'll start swatching stuff, okay? So here is the palette, the little packaging it comes in with. Okay, so here is the actual palette, Making Mauves. Is there plastic? Yep. Alright, so here we go. It's a very neutral palette, so if you're into neutral purpley tones, I think this would definitely be something that you would enjoy. So what we have is 6 matte colors and 3 shimmers. And it looks like one of the shimmers, this one here, Mauve on top, looks like a Super Shock formula. The other two look like their normal shimmer formula. So it's very pretty, very neutral, as I said. So yeah, so we'll swatch that in a moment. The next is we have 2 Super Shock shadows. So I like the little packaging these come in, like this. So it's kind of excess cardboard, but it is quite cute. Okay, I like the fact that they come in their own little cute mauve cases. All right, so we have this first one, which is called Bloomer. That guy there. That's a very pretty color. Let me see how it looks once it's actually on the skins. And then the next one, which is Daytrippin, which looks more on the pinky side, maybe like a lighter kind of lavender shift in there. Very sparkly, very pretty. I do struggle a little bit with the Super Shock formula, so we are going to give them a try, but I don't know, something about my eyes, they just tend to look a little bit crepey when I use it. So just, that's my experience with them. All right, so we have 2 blushes. So this one is Coast to Coast. And so they're in the same type of packaging that like their bronzers are in. So this little tiny plastic component here. So let's see what Coast to Coast looks like. Kind of a dusty rose color. And then the other one is Catch My Vibe. Same packaging, so careful you get them confused really easily. Okay, and this one is more like a normal pinky kind of blush. So it's just a light pinky, kind of pinky orange, almost a peach. Okay, And then the last two are the Luxe Gloss formula. Now I already know I do like this formula, so that's going to be probably a win for me anyway, but let's see what the colors look like. So the first one is Check-In. Ooh, it's very sparkly. I don't know how to describe that. It's definitely a mauve, I guess. More on the light side. I don't know how well that's going to show up. And the next one is Figgy with it. Okay, let's open that one up. Ooh, that one's pretty. It's more of definitely a darker purpley kind of color. I think that one's going to be really nice. Okay, so that's it. It's not a huge collection. We only have the palette, the 2 blushes, the 2 Super Shocks, and the 2 Luxe liquid glosses. Glosses are always liquid. The time just changed here in the UK today, so I don't really know what's going on at the moment. So, all right, so let's start with the palette. Let's go ahead and do the swatcheroos of this, okay? So we'll do the normal thing. I'm gonna go kind of in rows this way. All right, and then I got my trusty towel on the lap to do my hand wipes. Got moderately clean hands. I mean, I'm washing them so much that the skin is cracking, but you know, yeah. Okay, so the first one is R&R. That's very, very, very pale. It's a very kind of dusty pale pink, well, pale purple, like a gray purple. Then the next one is Solitaire, yeah, which is a dusty brown purple. And the third one is called Big Moves. Oh, that one's pretty. It's more on the lavender gray kind of side. All right, so let's see if we can get anything with these. Okay, that's a little bit darker than I thought. So that was R&R, then Solitaire, then, what was this one? Big Moves. Oh, that one's very pretty. Wow, actually they're a little bit darker in the swatches than I thought they would be. So that's cool. I thought they weren't going to show up at all, especially because they looked like almost nothing on the hand. So that's encouraging, okay? So that's the first 3. So the next row is all the shimmers. So we have Bi-Coastal. Ooh, really soft, very reflective. I don't actually know what color that's going to be. Okay, it's a pinky, peachy kind of shimmer. Very pale, very cute. The next one is A la Mode, which is more of a dark rose, dark purpley rose shimmer. Ooh, that one's very pretty, guys. Ooh, yeah. And then the last one of the shimmers is Mauve on Top. Yeah, it really does feel like a Super Shock formula. Yeah, it's kind of a duochrome, not duochrome, but it does have a bit of a shift to it, kind of like a pink undertone within like a purple on top. All right, and then the bottom row, so we have Tongue Tied, which is a sequined formula. Ooh, there's a lot of glitter in that. I don't know if you can see that there. It's very dusty brown pink. Then we have Marquis, which is kind of the darkest color in here. It's kind of a very deep gray purple. Oh, let me grab the third one. And then the third one, or the last one in that row is Big Fig. Okay, so that one is Tongue Tied. Then Marquis and Big Fig. Okay, that's actually more pretty than I thought it was going to be, the whole color story. I'm going to go into Marquis again and just smooth this guy out. There we go. Okay, it is a prettier color story than I thought. I think looking in the pans, I was like, oh, that's going to be a bit boring, but actually it's very, very beautiful. A lot deeper than I thought it was going to be, so I'm very pleased about that. So, happy so far with the palette. We'll do some comparisons after I've swatched everything, okay? So the next 2, let's go ahead and do these Super Shocks. So let me just open them both up. Okay, so the first one is Daytrippin. So soft. That one there. Ooh, very shiny. And then Bloomer. I like that one. Okay, so we're gonna go, we'll go down here. Okay, so Daytrippin. Gosh, you can't really even see anything with that one. It's very, very light. Definitely a light topper shade for some shimmer. And then Bloomer there. It's hard hard to see how reflective they are. They are, I mean, they are very, very shimmery, but then in the swatches they're not that sparkly. They're okay. I'm not that excited by those Super Shocks. I think they are fine. Maybe let's see what they're gonna look like on top of some of the other ones, maybe. See if they're nicer as topper shades. Okay, now let's do the two blushes. We are gonna do swatches of them, although blush swatches really, I don't think they're that useful, but it's just to get the color and then help me decide which one I'm gonna actually use on my face. So the first one is Catch My Vibe, which is kind of this more true pinky peach. So we'll do them here on the side. Okay, so that's that one. That's very pretty. It's very definitely on the peachy bright kind of side. And then the other one, which is Coast to Coast. It's definitely more on the purpley side. Yeah, that one's very pretty. And that's Coast to Coast. I think for me, I might, I'm tempted by Coast to Coast rather than this one, which, sorry, I've already forgot. Catch My Vibe. I think I prefer this one. It's kind of more subtle, and I think that might look better on me personally, so that's probably the one I'm going to try in a minute. And then we have our two Luxe Gloss, so let's go ahead and try them both. So the first one is Check In. Okay, and we'll just do that one here. Okay, it's just like a very light pink gloss. Not that exciting. I think it'll be nice on top of other things, but I don't really think it's going to stand up on its own. Like, there won't be much color if you just use it on its own. And then you have Figgy with it. Ooh, now that one's really pretty. It's much darker, much more purpley. I think that's probably the one that I'm going to try. Why don't we just put it on now? Where's my cat mirror? This was like the best purchase I made in Japan, I swear. Okay. It's not like a huge intensity of color by any stretch of the imagination, but it's pretty. I like it. It smells nice, smells like candy. So let me just get the gloss off my hand because I know I'm going to like stick it onto something and then I'm going to have sticky stuff everywhere. All right, why don't we try this blush and just see how horrific I can make, how much of a clown can I look like? All right, so that's quite a lot. Okay, let's pray for me. All right, it's not that pigmented, so that's good for me. Okay, it looks way pinker in the camera than it does in real life. Oh, Jesus. It's okay. Where am I going today? Nowhere. Where are any of us going today? Nowhere. Let's just blend it for a moment, huh? Well, it looks very pink. Look at me like a clown. Oh, okay. It'll settle down. It will settle down. I think we all know how this works. It will calm its ass down. Okay. While I'm sorry, I'm making a lot of noise. While I'm at it, let me just put a little bit of highlighter on. So I'm using Horse and Carriage. It's one of the very few things from any of the Disney collections that I actually like. It's ridiculously shiny, but it kind of makes me happy. I don't really know why. It's like the first highlighter I think that I bought that I'm like just kind of want to use all the time, which is interesting because I'm not really a highlighty type of person, really. I don't really know why I want to accentuate the end of my nose. It's already large enough as it is. Okay, so why don't I zoom you guys in and let's go ahead and do a quick, easy eye look with this. I'll do one eye together with you and then I'll do the other eye quickly off camera and then we'll come back and I'll talk about some of the dupes I think you could get with this palette from the other palettes, especially the Flutterby palette, and then I'll tell you my thoughts overall. Okay, so come closer. What was I going to use? We're going to try this with this NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. This is my final eyeshadow primer to try. And everyone says this is amazing, so... Sorry. we'll see. We will see. That went on pretty nice. All right, so I'm going to take an enormous fluffy brush, and I think I'm going to go into Big Moves, this one here. Oops, where are you? This one there. I think that one looks really pretty. I'm very, oop, that brush is a bit, sorry. I cleaned all the brushes, so some of them are a bit stiff from the washing in. All right, so, and these are, by the way, brushes I got at Target. I think they're Sonia Kashuk brushes, so all the ones I'll be using today are from that, that line, so I'll link those down below. Or rather, I'll just put what I'm using. And I could use the right side of the brush. That'd be nice. Wow, okay. That is more colored than I was really expecting, like the swatches. This definitely looks less impactful in the pan than it does on the eyes, so I'm overall quite pleased with that, so that's good. Like all Colourpop shadows, it's blending really nice, very smoothly all the way across. Really nice fade out. I mean, this color is really pretty just on its own, to be totally honest with you, so I'm happy with that one. Okay, that's it, the first go. So I'm taking a slightly more tapered brush, and I'm going to go in with, I'm going to do Big Fig. I think that's the color story I want today. So nothing too dark, but more on the, let's go really hard into the mauvey tones. Okay. See, it's not that dark. Wow, I will say, sorry, I do need to show you guys. These are very, very powdery. Like, there's a lot of kick up in the pan. More so than I'm kind of used to with some of the Colourpop ones. So, just, if that bothers you, there's a lot. Okay, and we're just going to take that color and blend. Just kind of blend. Look at that. It just doesn't. It's going to blend away into the lightness. I think we might have to go in with a slightly darker color to actually give any kind of definition to the crease. Not the crease, the outer corner. Because that. It's like on the camera, it definitely looks a bit darker, but in person, it's really, really subtle. Like that Big Fig and Big Moves kind of have become one color now. So let's try a little bit of Marquee. That's that deep plum color here. So for me, that's a bit better. I need to blend that a lot, but see, that's better. Let's go back in with the big brush and Big Moves. Just tapping the brush in. Okay, and let's just take a tiny bit more of, sorry, cat hair, Marquee. And let's just really try and see how dark we can get that. I think this is kind of the intensity level that you can get, so it is quite not that dark, in my opinion. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use a little flat brush, and I am going to go into, which one? So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with Bi-Coastal here, yeah? No. All right, I'm going to go in with the Super Shock, which is Mauve on top, okay, the one that's in the palette, and then what I might do is take one of the Super Shocks and use the actual ones in the pots and use it on like the inner corner right here. All right, so with the Super Shocks, for me, I do typically have to end up going in with my finger, but I'm just going to try to pick it up with the brush just to kind of see. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I still, like, I know this is me just being stubborn, but the reason I want to use a brush with these is just so I can kind of place it down more precisely. I find that with the finger that it just kind of goes everywhere, and if you want something that's more sharp and defined, I really feel you have to use a brush. And also, you know, right now, well, that's the right way to say this, we're being more conscious about keeping our hands clean and keeping everything clean, and so then putting fingers into products, and then, do you know what I mean? So if anything, I want to put it on with the brush and then maybe use my finger to kind of foil it out a little bit then, but it's just kind of my personal feelings about it. But I will say, you know, just being patient here, I think that's gone on actually pretty good. So I'm going to take the small brush again and kind of dipping back into Marquee and Big Fig together just to help that definition. And I'm going to take Marquee and I'm going to try and like pull it in here to give my eye more of a kind of a cat eye kind of appearance off to the side. Okay, so let's take a little bit of this one. Which one is this? This is Daytrippin. Okay, so I've just put a little bit on my brush. Take a little bit of that off, and let's just put it kind of right here on the inner corner. That's very pretty. More on the subtle side, actually. But I like that. I think it looks really pretty. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the other eye off camera, and I'll go ahead and do mascara and just kind of clean up the look a little bit, and then we'll come back and we will do some dupes, and we will do my final kind of thoughts of my first impressions of the collection. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay guys, so this is the look. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It's very soft, very more on the subtle side for me, but I think it's very, very pretty. I really like, especially that Marquee color. I think that's really pretty. It's not unique to my collection, but I do think it is a lovely, lovely shade. So first impressions with the whole collection, I think it's very nice. I think this Super Shock Daytrippin is a bit on the light side, like it's not that special. I think Bloomer is probably prettier, but I don't know, I'm not that excited by them. I think they've had better shades before. The two blushes are fine. Again, I don't really... they're nice. There's nothing wrong with the blushes. If you're interested in picking up some kind of more like a cool tone blush or a warm tone blush, I think these are perfectly fine. So I'm not going to say they're bad or good. They're blushes, they're fine. They do what they say on the tin. So no issues there. The palette I do like. I think it is very pretty. I think you're not going to have a huge diversity of looks with it. You're going to get the same few looks out of it. I think you can do something on the slightly warmer side with like these ones here, and then something on the cooler side like what I did here, and then maybe some slight variations in between, but there's not a lot of depth to the palette, so this is probably as dark as you can take it. I mean, you could really build up the Marquee color maybe a little bit more, but this seemed to be kind of the maximum expression of it, so I don't know, okay? So, and the Luxe glosses are fine. They're definitely topper shades. They're like, okay, a gloss is not necessarily supposed to be that dark or impactful, right? So that's fine, but especially this one, what is this one called again? Check-In. It's very light, so I would think of these both more to go over a lipstick or over like a matte liquid lip to give that glossy, sparkly kind of effect. It doesn't really look like I'm wearing anything right now, to be honest with you. So again, they're nice topper shades, but they're not really, it doesn't really do anything on its own. Unless you just want a lip gloss that looks nice, that doesn't really give a lot of color, then these might be great. All right, so I just wanted to talk about this one, the Flutterby palette. So I obviously do have this, and I'll just put them up side by side. Let me tap off all that extra powder. I can't see you guys. Okay, so these are the two side by side, and you can see there looks like there's a lot of similar shades. So I'm just gonna grab a couple, not a lot, because this is not like a full duping video or anything like that, but I just wanted to show you some of the matte colors from the Flutterby palette, okay? Just so you can kind of compare them. Okay, so those are the three there that I thought. So this is Mariposa, this one is Made to Last, and this one is Wild Wing. So they're a little bit more on the intense side, but I think, and they're slightly more brown, but I think like these two don't look too bad against Tongue Tied. Let me see some of these shimmers here. And some of the shimmers from the palette. And let me just show you the two darkest colors. This is Angel BB and Float On. So what, in my opinion, sorry, let's just do this one as well, Lush. I think this one is going to be very similar here, yeah. And then this one is Lush, and you can see it's matching almost exactly to Solitaire. So in my humble opinion, I think if you have the Flutterby palette, you do not need this Making Mauves palette. I think there is a lot of similarity between the two. And while I think the Flutterby palette is a bit deeper compared to the Making Mauves one, you also can get more of a variety of looks. Of course, it's a 12 pan palette versus a 9 pan palette, so that would you have more shadows. But there is a bit more depth, and you can get like a very cool toned look, a slightly warmer toned look, a more brown one, a more pink one, a more purple one. So there's a little bit more dimension to it, personally. Okay, so I think I would have preferred just this one, and not necessarily the Making Mauves one. Just wanted to have a quick look at the Blush Crush as well. Just these kind of two bottom colors really, Blush Wine and How Rouge. Just to see, yeah. So there's also some similarities in that palette as well with some of these deeper shades in the Making Mauves one. So if you have these two, you definitely don't need this palette. If you have this one, you probably don't need this palette. So it's really going to be up to you and what you have in your collection and what is missing in your collection. So from my perspective, I didn't need to buy it, but I was doing it for a review video for you guys. So it's not like I mind that much. I will use it. It's not going to be like a standard go-to palette for me. I think it's a bit on the neutral side, but I am going to use it. I am going to enjoy it. And the quality is great. So absolutely no issues there. Okay, alright guys, so that and my very dirty hands is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you could hit the like button down below, or you could subscribe. That'd be cool. You're very welcome to. I'd love to have you here. I post 3 to 4 times a week, so you know there's plenty of content, lots of stuff to look through. And I have pretty much every Colourpop palette there is, so I'm thinking about doing a Colourpop swatching party. It would be a long video. If you're interested, let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, I hope you guys have a really lovely day wherever you are, and take care of yourself and take care of each other right now. And we will see you in my next video. Bye bye.